Ding. And I want to mention before I forget and return to Martin that I have posted on Angora Poets YouTube channel our
Okay.
last three sessions.
Oh, great.
The problem with that is they keep an October session on top of the page. So it's giving people the
Hmm.
impression there are no new sessions. Me and
Hmm.
Mo tried to figure that out, and we're still stumped. So if you
Is
just,
that's on YouTube?
yes,
That's on YouTube, right, Mo?
yes, it is on YouTube.
You
So
guys
it,
should be able to just set up a playlist and then you can drag and drop them, arrange them in whatever order you like. So you could
well,
should be able to fix it that way.
okay, well, all right. I'm going to talk to you, David. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to be talking to you, brother,
All
because
right.
I can use all the help
Yeah.
all the help I can get, you know,
Well, take
on
take
this.
any help from me with however many grains of salt are
Okay,
appropriate.
well, at least you have some. All
Yeah.
right, very
At
good.
least you
We
have
are
some.
on recording, and this is
At least
January
you have
10th.
some for me too. Do
Okay,
do do do
we
do.
this is January 10th. So let us continue listening to Martin Rucek, doing the best I
Close
can with your
enough.
last
Yeah.
name, sir. Okay, so give us some more, please.
Okay. So this is one of uh,
Martin, why don't you give us the one before again? As you know, it was so beautiful.
Bunny, why
It
don't you
wasn't the
Bunny,
recording.
let me
Okay.
host. Okay, love you, honey. Let me host.
this
Okay,
is one of his most outrageous ones. So I think it's a
okay.
good one to start with. It's the title is in Latin, Perfectibilitas Fidei Catholicae. I apologize for my Latin pronunciation. And in Czech it says, O, raduj se katolická chaso, máme boží krev a boží maso. Ještě boží střeva potom na letnici bude dělat papež boží jitrnici. And here's my translation. Oh, celebrate and thank the priest, God's body and God's blood, a feast. Add God's stomach, then we can hope for God's fresh haggis from the Pope.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing he's not worried about purgatory.
He did get arrested.
Okay.
Then this one is a little bit more political. It's in Czech selský. Farář dělá z chleba a vína pro duše selské tělo a krev. Sedlák dělá tělem a krví pro tělo kněžské víno a chleb. The vicar makes from bread and wine for the peasant's soul the body and blood. The peasant with his body and blood for the priest's body makes wine and bread. Sorry, that was my literal translation. I have a poetic translation. That didn't rhyme. The
Okay.
priest takes bread and wine to make the flesh and blood to feed the peasant's soul. The peasant's flesh and blood makes the bread and wine that keeps the priest's flesh whole.
Mm, that
That's
sounds right.
poetic translation. Sorry.
Well, okay. So these are very brief. You're on a roll. Let's hear another one.
Let's see. Okay, this one isn't about the church, but it applies today anyway. It's called demokratsky, democratically. Nechoď vašku z pány na let, mnoho příklad máme, že pán sklouzne a sedlák si za něj nohu zláme. Don't go, Johnny, with the highborn on icy roads or lakes. When master slips and take a fall, it's your leg that breaks.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So, did you know this former Jesuit who's written this verse?
Oh no, he's from the 19th century.
Oh, so now, okay, yeah, right. Okay. So his stuff would stand up under both the communist regime and the present regime. Would that be right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You know,
Um, Yeah, he was imprisoned by the Habsburgs.
Okay.
He has a famous poem called the Tyrolean Elegy. He was imprisoned in, it's called Brixen.
Okay. Now, have you written? So you've written your own poetry?
Yes, some, sure.
Can we hear one of your poems?
Okay.
Yes, please.
And maybe we can ask Bill to prepare to follow Martin. So Martin, please, your own work.
Okay. Let me see what I want to do. Sorry, I hadn't prepared anything.
That happens.
Do you want a grim one or a happy one?
It's your call.
Okay. Here's a strange one. Let's see if I can find it. Oh no, I'll do a funny one. Okay, here. This is called Philosophical Debate, and it's a villanelle. And it's actually based on a true story. Sorry. Do I have free will or not? He looks at her with mild disdain, smiles, and lets a wine glass drop. The waiter glides up with his mop. She dabs and gasps, "Are you insane? Do I have free will or not?" Her cheeks turn red, her face grows hot. It's neurons firing in your brain. He nods and lets a wine glass drop. What can she say to make him stop? He's insisting once again, do I have free will or not? Don't be such an idiot. At least leave some of the champagne. He lets another wine glass drop. Will the waiter call a cop? She sees that she cannot explain. Yes, you have free will or not. Just please don't let the wine glass drop.
Bing, unmute, Mo. Hello, Mo. Yeah, that's cool. Every one of us who drank, and some of us who drank way too much, know anything can fall but what you're holding in your hand, right? Everybody knows that. Went down a flight of steps. Not a drop came out of the neck of that bottle.
Well, it wasn't me who was in. I was neither of the two parties involved, but
Okay.
I heard about this incident, this debate.
Okay. All right, good. So we're kind of doing this a little irregular tonight because we came in early and I wanted to suss everybody out on how they got on board. So asking you in reverse order, how did you find out about Angora Poets?
Bill, I was at a reading yesterday, and Bill mentioned that. It'd be interesting.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. And where are you going at 3 o'clock your time?
Carmine Metrics.
Yeah, in Manhattan?
Well, it's over Zoom, but yes.
Yeah, I mean from like Carmine Street?
Yeah, I guess that's why it's called, Carmine Street Metrics.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Very good. Well, let's everybody say welcome to Martin. This is his first time on board. You know how formal we are. Welcome, Martin. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Martin.
And
Welcome.
we really do appreciate that you were able to read in 2 languages. We encourage people who can write and read in a second or third language to do such. So
We're always interested in Jesuits who reverse themselves.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I pull out the 4th language if you want.
What's your 4th language, Bunny?
Spanish.
Mm.
It's a little bit close to Latin, right? I had that at school, so it kind of works out a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bunny. This seems like an opportune moment. Do you have something you can read from Czech to English, English to Czech?
I do.
Why don't
Thank you
you?
too, Martin, for the link to your father's memoirs
I put in both links, actually, my father's and my mother's.
and your mother. Oh, I see. Yes. Thank you.
Let me have a look. I need my glasses.
Okay. And meanwhile, while Bunny's looking for her glasses, I met a few former Jesuits in my younger days because I used to hang around with liberation theologists, Catholic liberation theologists. They were socialists, and they weren't they weren't very popular at all with Pope Paul, the Polish Pope, who was a very conservative guy. Anyway, what one of them explained to me is, I said, Dennis, how did you end up a liberation theology, socialist, anti-war activist? And he said, as a Jesuit, um, you are led to study so thoroughly, that by the time you examine everything that you may study in question, you found out there's no basis to believe in the religion. He said that is, he said it was a logical sequence of. He said we were prompted to ask further and further questions and challenge further and further deeper into doctrinal statements, and so we did that. And he said himself, among others, went so deep into the study that they came out through the other side. And he was not being funny about that. He was saying that that's what did happen. Okay, what Benedict
I was
fell off.
I was in a supermarket line behind Daniel Berrigan once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was a great guy. He and his brother Philip Berrigan.
Yeah. Yeah. Philip Berrigan lived on 98th Street, in fact.
Okay. And what was it, Daniel, that wrote that poetry when they put him in prison?
No, that was Philip.
I'm sorry, it was Philip. Okay. Uh, He was a very fine poet. I've heard some
Both
of
of
his.
them. Both of them were terrific writers. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which one's the one that's in the Paul Simon lyric? The line.
I don't know.
The radical priest came to get our release, and we were all on the cover of Newsweek.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Me
because
and
they were,
Julio down by the schoolyard.
one or both of them were arrested for spilling human blood on nuclear nose cones, you see.
Hmm.
And they were warned the first time, and then they went to another site with someone I grew up younger than but followed, named Molly Rush, who was part of that. And they went to and so they got arrested. This time the Fed said, you're going to do time over this. And that's when they made national news. And they were called the Plowshares 8.
Right. And
And
that
William
continues. That goes on. A friend of mine in New York is involved with the Plowshare 8.
That
goes
is
on.
very heroic.
It goes on. It
does.
I mean, the Catholic Worker Party has been very, very active in opposing nuclear weapons.
Yes.
They were on trial in, it's called something, Plowshares,
Yeah.
and they were on trial in Georgia, and a lot of them are doing time.
Right.
Yeah.
Plowshares, referring to that passage in the Bible, what we shall turn swords into plowshares.
Into
Right.
Plowshares, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I met some of them in Latin America, and they were extraordinary people. They
Yeah.
were barefoot priests who were making sure all these underfed peasants were being fed, and held services with peasants and women, and at the altar itself. And you thought you were at a peace rally, and it was a mass. So there you go.
Right.
But okay, so there we go. Martin, we're going to ask Bunny now. Did you find something to do bilingual, Bunny?
Yes, I did. I did find the bilingual vampire one. That's
All
my
right.
sci-fi poetry special. I don't even know how I'm going to categorize that once I put that in a book.
Why
But
vampires represented the devil. So we're going to go from those who
Well,
wrestled with
vampires
God.
represent a lot, not necessarily the devil, but they are very in tune things that are very strong and they like blood. And they are, well, let's say this, they might save us one day. So I have
Okay.
this, my poetry, it's gonna be called, the published book, and it's from a vampire. The story is, it's a long story, so I'm not gonna tell the novella to it, but it's basically a novella and a poetry book together.
And tonight you're going to read the poetry?
The poetry.
Okay, we're listening.
Okay, the Czech part first. Celou noc mám tu moc, setmit noc, to bude moc. Když se setmí, musíte nás zažít. A náš nekonečný hlad. Preživou redou šťávou, krvavou tlamou. S každému přiblížím, zvláštní energii pocítím, když tvé živé tělo pokřísím. Okay, it's a really dark poem, actually.
Well, sometimes we're dark people. Come on with it.
It's a really dark poem, yeah. All night long, it's called All Night Long. All night long, I'm in control to dim darkness, no distress. And when darkness covers land, we are hard to understand. Never-ending strife for blood, our red-tainted jaws. Kiss your necks, vein and true blue node, white energy and sod. We are around.
I like the way you end that in true vampire fashion. We are around.
Yeah, right?
And we can
What else
find
do I
where you
have
live.
here?
Okay. Do you have a second poem for us, Bunny?
Yes, I do. I have to just find it really quickly.
Okay.
I had it here listed. That would be, okay, Undead. That fits a little bit. I mixed a little bit because I was writing the vampire poems. So I mixed a little bit of poetry and undeadism. Undead is my poetry. Note like plants in your pottery. Undead is my poetry. Words written for eternity. Undead am I too. I do not vanish like you. My life is a different pair of shoe. I'm undead different than you. Please get a clue. Undead are the words I write. Undead eternal is my rhyme. Words forever wild. I am last poet, not a bandit. I carefully choose the words I use, for the poetry induce to be for me and use.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. And now let me ask you for what we customarily call three's a charm.
I think I have to. Okay, here's one more poem. Well, the thing is, the novella with the vampires is about a poet vampire. So I have some poems that are like mixed poetry and vampire stuff. It's called I Write. I'm a poet. I talk my truth as if I was a youth. I look the wood. I'm young and I shine. With my undead poetry fine, I attack around just like a smack. I wait in the dark till my deafening attack.
Okay. Don't mess with Bunny. Okay, Bunny.
Yoo-hoo.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you.
Honey,
Okay. Okay. So, um, Benedicta, you're back on. Stay on, Benedicta, so we don't lose you in your
I'm
signal.
here, Mo. I'm here, Mo.
Well,
I'm
I'm glad.
here, Mo.
Well, I'm glad you are, Benedicta. Glad you are. Okay, so hang in there, lady. We'll get to you. But I had the next invited Bill Strangmeyer. He will read, and after that, I will invite Sandra Edmonds waiting to read after Bill. So over to you, Bill, the judge, as we call him.
Okay, a quote from an American poet called Petros Maneos. Society is a thing to be conquered or withdrawn from. This is called Atlantis in the Fall. A new country of new people birthed by Elvis and Bardot, the charismatics, although she has been replaced by the death of that older image, the nonpareil Marilyn. The herd loves tragedies and glorifies the rise and fall. Apotheosis, if a death before the fall. Augured by Kerouac and Ginsberg, James Dean and Lenny Bruce, the martyrs. Its birth was induced by the old land's war, provoking secession from corn. Already the uniforms were causing distaste, the scratch of the ties, the itch of the guilt, and of seen and not heard, but the silliness of TV villains affected sneers. The bounden boredom of required church kept the leash unloosened for a time. Though bright, beleaguered, riotous, and childish, kept longing for unlicensed freedom of touch. To leave the land of buttoned rage, of Marines and cowboys, of killing the geeks and the gooks, the hair, exaggerated, buttered down with bear grease, needed soap and length to become a banner. Our secession, romantic, doomed, and high on hope, made the mistake that Israel did not. We let the Meyer Lanskys in to sell their heroin and murder, pragmatists, untouched by love. The imitation love we held as dear as was any flag or patriotic song held by the olden fools. We made no new religion at the first, for revolution and its hopes sang in our minds. But then we lost that charter, for they weren't in our souls or in our hearts. It didn't have to die. The cults and overdoses didn't have to come, but we were weak. The lure of oblivion, pure or subtle in careers in the world that was brewed on TV, proved strong. The ideas of the robots were directed by the past, by Gilgamesh and Hamilton, but the hanging gardens sweetened the deal and the flickering light screens plastered it in. The rife filmic warnings didn't take. The college priests claimed genres weren't poetic, real, or true. The news rag of record liked films of bad marriages, dad jokes as literature, took politics seriously, blustered high-toned morality while taking the high ground of a mid-caste commuter. And so look at what is taken seriously now: comic book superheroes, Nazism, PC, and Orange. So the fatherland took back the territory lost, the minds and hearts of the ones lacking heft. The many deserters took to the suits they were ordered to wear as worshippers of Mammon. The peasant army's victory abroad ended also the new realm through the virus of hurt pride. Besides, a nation needs land, and a farm in the upstate just isn't enough to get weight. The borderline was in the mind. The unionist invasion overwhelmed the disciples as they melted. The refugees were everywhere, but not all of them aware they lived within a foreign land, their nation lost. So let's all root for the winning team, the team that crushes rebel thoughts and always wins. But the gaslight finesse is the ploy that works best for the mindset of pig fat that'll keep us in thrall. And just like in the old days, conquest, money, and illusion guide us further into the baited quagmire. But once was an idea, a faith, a hope that's left its trace today, although it's just a ghost. Just as the church is the ghost of Rome, now dying in its turn and having done more evil than did we.
All right. And that's why we call him the judge. Okay, Bill, how about coming behind that with another poem, please?
Okay. What happened? Okay. Okay, messages, meanings. The white air of the feeling might be the reward. The cost is unease in the shadow of the requisite. My children run past as the metronome counts. We claim the origins with pride and theory, but do not know because the data is not all intact and is not logged. A careful listing of the origins is called into account, for the light will be dimmed by the comfort and sheen. Everything is smoothed by the rolling along, but still it was done. It was done.
Okay. Okay.
It's good.
Thank you.
So
You're welcome.
now, if we could hear Three's a Charm.
Okay, Oscar Wilde said, "Yes, I am a dreamer, for a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world." Moonscape in a picture frame. I dream to try to grasp the universe I'm swimming through, to honor the confusion of the daily breaching of my mind's wall, of the mind's walls. The code is somewhere else, in a book of charms, in a text for first-year sight. Is mine the nugget or the gravy boat, the almond or the hull? The world I live in or that lives in me seems a shadow play, played out by ghosts that live in flesh machines that seem to feel, whence comes the thought of timeless soul, of immortality indeed. The invention of affection was ennobling to us apes, but still a fickle chance, a byproduct of a time when life in the world became an easier game. And then the strife of intellect, a clash with beef, bred politics. Oh, would that magic were a mystic force that worked for real. I'd cast a spell upon mankind to turn them into trees and lakes. Those dreams I have of verified routines so oddly unfamiliar in my sleep beguile me with their dust and lack of rich display some people like, as if my doubts were justified by concomitance with the state I see. When glory comes into the world, I'll dream, I hope, of palace gardens, songs decrypting God and time, bodies smooth and joined and meadows, angels winged and chiming, miracles and wonders, dances all the world. For now, the dusty room, the dusty road, the journey to a fictive past are keys to somewhere, codes to disarrange the locked up sometime day that keeps its rules, its frugal reign of gravity and logic, lying gods and whist. But once I dreamt I was a lion gliding across the sky on ample raven's wings. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. All right. So let's move now to let's go from Paris to Mobile, Alabama, and invite on Sandra Edmonds Whitting, please. Hello, Sandra.
Hello. Uh, Mo, this poem was just sent to me about an hour ago by a friend of mine in D.C., Jane Kinsman. And the title of the poem is Abraham Walks at Midnight. Have
Mm.
you heard?
No, I'm listening. I haven't heard it. Anybody have heard that poem? No, it's new to our
What?
ears. It's
Okay,
new to our ears.
say that now. So y'all have made me feel better already. Anyway, written by Vashel Lindsay, and he's expressing his sorrow over the horror of World War One. And this is just part of the point in reference to Lincoln. He cannot sleep upon his hillside now. He is among us, as in times before. And we who toss and lie awake for long, breathe deep and start to see him pass the door. His head is bowed. He thinks on men and kings. Yea, when the sick world cries, how can he sleep? Too many peasants fight, they know not why. Too many homesteads in black terror weep. The sins of all the warlords burn his heart. He sees the dreadnoughts scoring every main. He carries on his shawl-wrapped shoulders now the bitterness, the folly, and the pain. He cannot rest until a spirit dawn shall come, the shining hope of Europe free, the league of sober folks, the workers' earth, bringing long peace to cornland, alp, and sea. It breaks his heart that kings must murder still, that all his hours of travel here for men seem yet in vain. And who will bring white peace that he may sleep upon his hill again? That's it.
That's very good. And you said that You said earlier, is this the poem you were referring to earlier when you came on board, when you said you had a poem that resonates with what happened this week?
Right. It's been a tough week. And, we were so fucking hopeful for the new year, but that way. But we're strong.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. You're from down in Alabama, and it is projected that a large number of people in the South were in favor of Donald Trump, and from that number, some of that number were in favor of the attempted coup. Now you're listening. You're down there, way down Hardy Dixie. What is your sense of the people around you in Mobile?
When you're in corn, as some people say, you're in a bubble almost. Okay, you're
Mm,
careful to discuss this, and I'm just kidding. But anyway, uh, people think that most people I know are Trumpers. I respect that, no, and I don't appreciate many people that say on Facebook, the new Biden is not my president. It doesn't make me happy that people did storm our Capitol and innocent people died. I believe that we should all be able to express how we feel, but not at the expense of others. And, this is a divided country, but it's just, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what the answer is. So I shouldn't even comment, but I'll just say I'm not in the majority of most people here.
mm. Yeah, we know that from your history coming and participating with us in Paris. Uh, but I don't mind actually asking you some pressing questions because you've always had a very straight from the gut, straight from the heart response to people.
Well, thank you, Mo. I
Mm,
believe
okay.
I'm
All
that
right.
much.
Mm,
I am that much of a dreamer. I think that with an effort and understanding and communication, we can get along. We're not here forever anyway.
mm, okay. All right. Um, okay. So because I was speaking to a friend of mine today from Garland, North Carolina. Uh, he is a black man living on a small piece of land in North Carolina, and I was asking him similar questions because of so much focus being put on large numbers from the South. Not that there weren't a lot of people on both sides in the North as well, but he gave some interesting talk himself coming out of Garland, North Carolina, saying that people are abuzz, and that he felt that.
Buzz.
Uh,
Our breath, really, for the inauguration, and hope that doesn't present problems.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, you read one piece. We invite people to read three. Do you have a second one for us?
Regrettably, I don't. I just, I was prompted to tune in as soon as I read this to share it and say hello, but
Hmm.
more prepared. I'm writing a short story, and next time I will tell you about my adventure.
Yeah. Okay. Because we fondly remember your short stories in Paris.
How are you doing? How's everyone doing over there? Really?
Well, you've heard me talk. Who else? Go ahead. Answer,
Yeah,
Sharon. Anybody, please.
well,
Mhm.
it's strange here. It's everything that Paris was is not no longer. You,
Applies to everywhere, Jack.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's true.
Right.
It
No,
really
no
does.
place like it was before.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I suppose I'm
Really
I'm
scary,
just thinking
actually.
thinking in terms of cafes and things like,
Yeah.
you can't even stop in and get a coffee or a hot chocolate or anything because you've got to drink it on the street, It's,
Right.
Yeah.
Curfew 8
take it out of the cold is what I mean.
curfew 8 to 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
Can't go out at night. We said something funny. We said it's not allowed to get out of the woods before 6.
and our French administration was saying like before Christmas that they imagined that they could relax a lot of restrictions on January 20th. Okay, not completely open society up, but open up restaurants and. And, and those of us who are performers know some of those restaurants can hold poetry and music. Anyway, what's happened is I listened to someone this morning from Paris who works at a restaurant, and she said a cop told her last night that the word is among the Paris police force, forget about it. Forget about it on the 20th of January. That the word is, at least through the way he said it, the word is through the police ranks that the restrictions that we're now under will hold through that period, and that there won't be any loosening of those restrictions. Isn't that great? Okay.
And we're losing so many businesses, each month. We lost there's a whole list, 100 restaurants that shut down or whatever.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Permanently. Yeah. Great institutions. Ooh,
Ooh. Yeah, David?
I just heard some feedback. I heard myself feeding back at myself. It was weird.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I hear that in New York, there are restaurants closing left and right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, here, as far as I can tell, there is some economic relief coming from the government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, not naturally, you're on your own.
I want my $2,000.
It's a dog
Me
eat
too.
dog
Me
country.
too.
I'm so frigging confused about that now. Are we to expect, because Americans abroad, I respect it. I received that $600 check that was supposed to
Yeah.
hold me for 10 months. Whoopee!
Yeah.
10
You got the
months.
$600 check?
Yeah, I received one, 10 months ago.
Oh, no.
And
That
what's
was
that for?
$1,200. I
It's
thought.
for being
1,200?
American.
Okay, I'm sorry. I received a whopping 1,200. What a wasteful man I am.
I got that
So
too.
if you are not a citizen, you don't get any.
Mhm. So my question and my confusion is, where's it settle now? Are they going to issue a $600 or a
It's
1,200?
600 now, but now
Oh,
there's a Democratic majority.
well, I
So
would hope
Jack, what are they giving for non-citizens?
nothing.
Yeah.
Nada.
That's too bad.
That's too bad.
That's too
It's,
bad.
They want to get reelected. Huh?
Okay, so again, at the moment they're proposing to send $600 checks. Is that right?
I think it's 600 now. Presumably, the Democratic Congress will rally and change it to 2,000. I hope.
Okay.
Yeah, we could all use a few bucks.
You bet.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on to another poet here. And since we're shaking up the shit with the politics now, why don't we ask Jane? Jane spoken word. Jane, what you got to say, Jane?
I got a lot to say.
Uh-oh. Well,
All right.
all right.
It's been ages.
Okay, now we got to mute so we can hear Jane. Please, people.
This is
Okay.
from, you can't see it, but it's Word Against the Machine.
Okay, War Against the Machine.
Word Against
Oh.
the Machine. And it's what it says. It's fuck you, machine. So this piece is called What is Wrong with People? What is wrong with people? Women and children are running in fear from men so cruel and anger-fueled, committing atrocities that bring us to tears, killing one another over man God rules. Men in soldier suits with guns and tanks, and men with lies upon their lips as they drank to bloody victories of now and when. Men in fresh pressed suits, making war, pushing paper and pen. Didn't you hear what Marvin said? Mercy, mercy me, when will it end? In the cities, they run past the bullets that fly, or lost in the desert, they waste away and die of thirst. When ancient water jars are burst, where children are bought, fucked, and worked till they're dead or they're grown, it's a planetary shame on you. It's all about skin tone. What is wrong with people? Oh, haven't you heard? Their God has instructed them. They got the word. To reap the rewards, you must kill the infidels, blow them off the face of the earth, and send them all to hell. And for all you good people who love the sinner but hate the sin, preaching from your pulpit, spewing lies from deep within of hate and intolerance, though Jesus loves you nonetheless, you think you're on the highway to heaven because your sins in the dark you did confess? War comes from the ancient mind of then. The sins of war are upon us. When will it end? In the name of a Muslim jihad or a Bible-thumping Christian crusade, as long as it's your version of God, then you're happy, regardless of the mess that you've made in your God's name. Muslims, Christians, Hindus, and Jews all throw their dice in deadly war games. A wrath of God, an eye for an eye, millions of dead motherfuckers just the same. When you get to the gates of your vision of heaven, will your God make you pay for all the death and destruction and hatred of others? What will your God say? All the wars of all the gods, of all the religions, will fall upon deaf ears when we realize that we are all true spiritual beings without the religious fears. I refer you to a line I think George Carlin said. Do you believe in God? Answer yes. Then please do move ahead. Do you believe in my God? Answer no. Then bang, you're dead. That's it.
Yeah, that's a wrap on the religion game in progress. So many
Yeah,
places.
word.
And I have to say, in a dark way, that I appreciate the fact that you mentioned uh, the Hindus. You mentioned a couple different, belief systems, because I
Yep.
know what the Christian right terrorists are doing in the United States.
Yep.
And goddamn,
It's everybody. It's,
I know what
it's the God people.
what Modi is doing in India, and Bolsonaro is doing in Brazil, and Netanyahu, and Bibi in Israel. I mean, and what was recently happened in Myanmar, by in a largely Buddhist nation. Yabba yabba yabba. Okay.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's right for you to name the insanity that's spread around the world. Okay, so how about giving us the second one, please, Jane?
All right. Second one, what's up, Mr. America? What's up, Mr. America? My kind still ain't up and died, and I be waving my freak flag high. Will you ever be truly experienced? Or are you still just passing time? Wasting time trying to make heaven your home? You ain't wasting time. You're killing time. Lost in the twilight zone. Lost in the dark zone. Lost in some unknown zone. Sliding down this street, it's like I've been here before. I didn't want to be here from last time. Do you remember last time? This could be the last time. Running from the repo man, my thoughts he cannot have. I'm hiding from the soul stealers that beckon to me from shadows of mine, and time keeps on ticking. And time keeps on ticking. Into the past, or is it the future? Is this the plan of man to keep us in the state of confusion, or a murder of the mind to perpetrate the illusion? You ain't wasting time. You're killing time. Peace.
Okay. Yeah. Sadly, yes. Sadly, yes. Um, mm. Now, we talked to Sandra down in Mobile. How you're down south? You're way down south. You know, in the Crescent, in New Orleans. What are you feeling in the atmosphere there since the coup on Wednesday? What are you feeling down there in NOLA?
Well, you know, there's the haters and there's the not haters. And pretty much because it's such a tourist place, it's pretty quiet here.
Okay.
So people generally are masked. People are suffering greatly because, like I said, it's for the tourists. The entertainment people are just really suffering. Most of the musicians I know are playing what they call porch fest. So they're playing in people's driveways or on their porch for tips. They're suffering. It's a difficult time.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks for filling us in on your part of the world. And
Yeah.
can we hear, here we go, can we hear Three's a Charm?
All right, Three's a Charm. If I was the junk man in junkie land, cleaning up all the messes that life left behind, I would polish the moon and paint the horizon just for you. And I would sprinkle stardust above your dreams and fill them with waves of wonder and joy if I were the junk man in junkie land. Peace, yo.
Yeah, back at you with peace.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you all. I love this moment.
Inspiring.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, all right. What I'd like to do now is call on Benedicta. Hello, Benedicta.
Hi, Mo.
Hi there. We would like you
Hi,
to come
hi.
on. So we would like to hear from you now.
Okay. Is my sound audible?
Yes.
Okay, so I take the first one. Resistless, an art of words. Though unpredictable, it creeps in spite of the hour. Breathless and caught up, the terms of a yearning passage, yields of the unexpected. That's the first one.
All right. Okay. Now, I always ask people who read brief pieces to repeat them. So please repeat it.
Resistless, an art of words. Though unpredictable, it creeps in spite of the hour. Breathless and caught up, the turns of a yearning passage, yields of the unexpected.
Okay. Yes. That resonates with what's current events. Okay. So can we hear a second one, Benedicta?
Okay, the last two will all be in a monoku
Okay.
format.
All right.
So the So the second one, precepts of an endowed layout.
Again, please.
Precepts of an endowed layout.
Okay. All
That's the
right.
second one.
All right.
So I take the third one
Yes.
and I read parts of an endless shield. Hope it was clear.
Short but sweet. Say that again, please.
Parts of an endless shield. That's
Okay.
about it.
That's about it, right? Okay. Now fill us in, Benedicta. How are relations with work?
I'm not back to work yet. I'm still enjoying my annual leave.
Oh, good.
I'll be going by the end of the month.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And no more static from some of the staff. You were reporting you were getting some negativity because of your
Yes,
poetry.
yes. So I'll be switched off to a different place
Okay.
altogether so that
Okay.
I can get back to the emergency unit.
Okay. And are hospitals coping this week in your city in Ghana?
Yeah, they are. It seems the numbers are still active in Accra, but then there are certain regions that they don't have any cases of COVID-19.
Oh,
And
that's
they've conveyed some of the vaccines in, but I don't know when they are going to begin the mass vaccination. Currently, the doctors and the other boards and the FDA are all sitting down to assess it first before they would want to give out the vaccination.
all right.
So when they are done is when they will accept it for everyone to start taking it. That's if you want to consent to it.
Now that you're leading me to my next curious question. Um, are they talking about voluntary vaccination or mandatory?
That will be voluntary.
Okay.
I
And
know some of them that had those vaccines, some had anaphylaxis and they had to receive prompt treatment there and then. So it depends on the people that you are getting at the moment who are interested in taking the vaccine. Because we have a vaccine consent form that you have to take before you give any vaccines. You have to make sure the person doesn't react to certain things like milk, eggs, have certain kinds of conditions before you give any vaccines. You have to test the vaccines before you give it. So
okay.
if it won't be everyone that will be eligible to take it. So that's where you have to build your immune system properly so that you don't gain all this COVID.
I see. Okay. And lastly, I'd like to ask you, there have been reports that in certain places in the world, Iran, for instance, and in some regions of Africa, there is a popular understanding that the vaccine is harmful and shouldn't be administered. Is that a sentiment that's going around in Ghana?
You definitely know that news travels very fast and everyone is on social media today. So whatever goes round, people would have noticed it by now. So based on that is what would let someone also try to have an informed perception about it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So
All
all
right.
that is going on in the news, you need someone to make sure that they are educating you properly on it to know what is good for you to do
Hmm.
so that
Okay.
it will lay out all those fears. Because some of them, mostly what they read is what they accept there and then. And there
Okay.
might be some misconceptions and all that. So based on what will come out is what the people believe. But so far as everyone is on social media today, definitely all these things will be going up and down in their minds, their thoughts. What if I take it and something bad happens? What then do I do?
Yeah.
So everyone is free or at liberty to have their own thoughts about it.
Okay. Okay. Because in the U.S., well, it seems like everybody who's on screen now, it seems like slowly we are probably in stages going to end up with the vaccine to be mandatory. I think that's the way the drift is coming down. That um, they will
I'm
be,
sure
yes,
I'm sure it might be due to the fact that it's widespread and we are having quite a number of active cases. So definitely everybody will be forced to have to take it, irrespective of whatever you have in your mind not to take it, because definitely you are living there. And now, as it stands, there are other new strains too that are mutating genetically. So definitely people have been traveling, going out and all that. Some have to go on lockdowns again. So definitely you would have to be obliged to take all these vaccines, irrespective of whatever you have in your mind.
yeah, okay, something to watch because, like I said, uh, the consensus in the states, as I understand it from afar, is that most people feel favorable about this vaccine. And then there are contrary situations like in Iran, the actual national consensus is they fear that the vaccine will be used to harm the population as a Western plot. So you see, there's already um, degrees of national difference in national consensus about this vaccine. And so, okay, all right.
There are
And
certain ideologies too attached to it. So if these ideologies that are attached to it are not relayed properly to the people, that is where all those kind of misconceptions come into play.
well, yeah, that's right.
Because virtually everyone is scared. They don't know the outcome. Your body system might be different from mine. You might be able to pass through all the stages of taking it and be fine, but someone might not. So that is where the doubts come into play.
Well, yeah, from an epidemiological point of view, it is not clear yet how this vaccine will affect. It's hoped that it will positively affect a lot of people, but scientists who are, well, frankly honest, who are actually pro-vaccine are saying, hold on now, we have not concluded that this is the magic bullet, that this will achieve, any, they're saying this is not going to eradicate COVID. It's simply going to inoculate people anywhere from some people say 2 months, some people say 10 months. And therefore, they're saying you may be getting this vaccine once a year after this. And that's from the science community. And so, okay. And you work in a hospital, so you're going to be on the front line um, of reactions in your part of the world when it gets administered.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And you may be one of the first people to get it, right? Because you're a healthcare worker, you're a nurse.
They've not yet approved it. So we've not started taking it.
Okay.
They are having second thoughts in administering it to the health workers and all that. They want to make sure that it takes some time before they can accept it. So they've not yet started as it stands.
All
That is
right.
why the physicians and other bodies have sat down to analyze it first before they are ready to make everyone start taking it. But
Oh,
from asking other colleagues and staff, none of them have stated that they've done any vaccination as it stands. They said they are yet to let it go through testing and also come out with their own views before they accept it.
okay. Well, it's inconclusive, and let's leave it at that for now, Benedicta. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. So, can we hear from David Wilson. Hello, San Francisco, David Wilson.
Here we are, San Francisco.
There
Hi,
you are.
everybody.
Right.
Um, so I just today posted on my website my giant poem from 2020. So and that's the link is there. That's if anybody wants to look at it sometime. You're the first folks I'm showing it to. Let's read something. All right. Here's a piece called Mona Lisa Selfie. A funny thing happened, as in a peculiar thing, between my first visit to the Musée du Louvre earlier this century and most recent just a few days ago in 2016. What happened is that a huge percentage of the visitors are now viewing the masterpieces of art not with their naked eyes, but through their cell phones and tablets. It's not enough to view that most famous of paintings, La Gioconda, Mona Lisa, and let the power of Leonardo da Vinci's work hit you emotionally, which it does me even at first glimpse from a distance outside the gallery as I approach. One must not only take a photograph, because there are never enough copies of the original in the world, but also be in the photograph. So there they are, blocking the view and grinning away. Marcel Duchamp famously put a mustache on a reproduction of the Mona Lisa, but that does not necessarily mean the world needs the selfie of some random guy with a mustache standing in the gallery in front of the painting. Ironically, I've heard some cranks and scholars argue that Mona Lisa herself is a selfie of Leonardo in drag. Venus de Milo is a wonder of the ancient world, but I wonder how one really sees it with one's back turned to it, holding a selfie stick. It's the same thing in many museums in this modern day and age, like across the scene in the Musée d'Orsay. There's something weird and a bit disturbing watching people take their selfie in front of Vincent van Gogh's self-portrait. But maybe that's just how it seems to an older guy like me. When presented with the opportunity to view great art with one's own eyes and internalize that experience, that's not good enough anymore. A selfie is required, or it didn't happen, and it's all about me.
Yeah, got you on. You're right on that. Now, I took my daughter to the Louvre many, many years ago. She wanted to see the Mona Lisa. So living in
Mhm.
Paris, I knew a side door I could just open. It was an employee door and walk straight downstairs. So we skipped the long line and I didn't have to pay a fee. So I was happy two times. So I took my little
Nice.
daughter Caitlin down there, and wouldn't you know it, we walked right into the section which is the Italian High Renaissance. So, and which I really appreciate. Lots of color, lots of very Italian, lots of color, lots of color, and I liked it very much. And we quickly came across the Mona Lisa, and all of a sudden I realized I'm about to face the Mona Lisa myself, along with my little daughter. Well, I took a look at that girl, and that woman, and I was disappointed. You know, I said, now that, you know, that is not someone I would ask out. She doesn't look like she wants to dance, you know.
No, no.
No, no, no. So um, later I was told that it was seen as a masterpiece because of some revolutionary styles of painting, use of brush and paint, okay, which is beyond my educated me on that. But frankly, staring face to face with the Mona Lisa, I just went, this is it. And
And also, when you're in that gallery, you always have to be sure you turn around and look at the big Varanasi Last Supper on the other side of the gallery.
I was much more impressed with some of the other paintings, right? So there
Yeah.
I am. Maybe I hold a minority view.
It's the marriage feast of Cana.
Yeah, Marriage Feast of Cana. Amazing work.
Okay. Well, all right then. So can we hear another one, David?
Okay, so we already had vampires this afternoon or this evening.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the unicorn. In an herb garden long ago, magical beast whose beauty is beyond compare, unicorn so good and fair. Gently you walk on green hills, bringing with you spring and the pleasant song of wild birds. In oak forests you drink at clear springs, water so good, sparkling in your white mane and on your silver horn. From the dense thicket you can see the poet writing verse in a cloth-bound book, and with him a maid in a long flowing gown, a wreath of wildflowers in her honey hair. You watch and a tear forms in your eye. She alone can tame you, if she wishes to tame you. Nay, she does not. So you must watch them, the man and the maid, sitting in the grass, hand in hand, human, alive, loving each other. And from their joy, you must take joy. From their love, you must take love, and come forth from the thicket and bless them, then turn and go. Rain falls, air is cleaned, life is renewed. You are free. Then, now, and forever, you run through the oak forests and over the green hills, and let none see you and none hear your passing.
Ooh. Wow. That was deep. Thank you, David. Benedicta, darling, we need you to mute.
Sorry.
Yeah, I tell you, you're gonna have to stay after school, girl. Gonna stop giving you a hall pass. Hey,
Forgive
okay,
me.
okay, mute, please. Okay, so David, that was one hell of a poem. Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
yes, can we hear a second one now, please?
Third one.
A third
I
one.
think.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
this will be.
easily distracted.
You forgot all about the Mona Lisa selfie already.
Yeah, really.
So
I
I'm
haven't
happy
had
to
any.
present
That
a
painting
third
never
poem.
gave me a wet dream. I'm gonna tell you that
No,
right now.
no. Well, that wasn't the point of it. Okay, here's a third poem. The misinterpretation of paradise. How long have I been at this place? Many days and nights. How many? When I came, it was the hot evening which shrouded things in deep shadow. Nameless faces flowed past me, and there were also a few that I knew. I sat watching visions, then slept on a narrow bed. When I awoke, I swam in a cool stream. The rain came, bringing its sweetness. Now the sun is back. It draws the energy from my thighs. I want to sleep again, but on a bed not so narrow.
Uh, hearing the romantic
Good,
in
good, good, good.
hearing the romantic in you tonight, David.
Yeah, there is that in me.
Yeah, and it's a very good side of you as well.
Well, thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you. Okay, so we're left with Jack and Claire and me. So why don't we go in that order? Jack, Claire, and me. Can we do that?
Agreed.
Agreed. Oh, that makes it so easy.
Okay. I have a series of short poems. The first one, two of which have to do with snow. The first has no title. Boughs burdened with snow. Terminal disenlightenment. An inevitability of the season. Treasonous time. Falling like words from a fountain pen among snow drips pressed between these leaves.
Was it eternal disenlightenment?
Nice.
Did you say eternal disenlightenment?
Yes, terminal
You did.
disenlightenment.
Terminal. Okay, that's a statement.
Yeah.
That's a position.
You have to see the boughs burdened with snow,
Right. It must be January.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, how about another one, Jack?
All right. And this is called Speed the Snow and the Plow. Bolstered by love of the earth, I lie down in dread, roll to a far edge of the world, waking when summons, ulterior alarms summon, separate conscious fears.
Oh, you must be having some good dreams lately, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
nightmares.
Okay. So here we go. Sunshine or shade, freeze the charm.
This one's very short. It's called Coupleted. I pinch every dream of you, kiss, pinch by pinch. You laugh like my oldest friend. Revelation.
Okay. Well, since
Very brief.
Yes.
um,
Bravo.
It's very brief.
and it is our
What's that?
custom. It is our custom for a very brief poem to hear it again.
Oh my gosh. All right. So now I gotta find
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm not sure I can do that. Yes, it's called Couplet Ed. I pinch every dream of you, kiss, pinch by pinch. You laugh like my oldest friend. Revelation.
It sounds nice.
Okay. Very nice.
Bravo.
You go, Jack.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jack.
Nice piece.
Thank you,
Jack.
everyone.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you all.
Okay. So now we're going to move over. Well, actually, now we're going to stay in Paris, France. And we're going
Well,
to.
before you, sorry for cutting in. I want to ask Jack something. What happens when someone pinches you and you get a revelation out of it? Don't you feel any pain? Or the kiss smoothens it up? You said pinch by pinch, revelation. I have those words from your poem. So is
Right.
it that the pinch you don't feel any pain? or the kiss smoothens it out, so you forget about the pinch. You know,
Uh,
when someone pinches you, it's painful.
oh, no, I mean, I think the linkage is that the speaker in the poem pinches the dream of the person.
But it's not an action.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, there's an expression, there's an idiomatic expression about, you know, pinch me, am I dreaming? So it's really
Okay,
with
so you
that
mean it
thought,
in that direction.
it's really with that thought in mind. I pinch every dream of you.
Okay,
To see if
that's
it's,
nice.
He awakens every pulse of yours.
yes, to see if it's real.
Exactly.
And then I kiss, pinch by pinch.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's kind of, you know,
The kiss
collapsing.
brings out the meaning.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice.
And of course, the final revelation is that you
Mm-hmm.
laugh like my oldest friend.
Yeah, it's
kind
good.
of scary almost. I don't know.
Well,
One person and another person. It's kind of scary to me.
mhm. A small poem evokes a lot of reaction.
Wow.
Can we conclude that about this poem?
Hmm.
Yes. And so now, what I would like to do is stay in Paris and bring on Claire Andriani. Hello, Claire.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so my first poem is called Grinning Inside or New Year's Eve. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can.
Okay. The air is tender, like New Year's Eve. People pass with their shyness, all pleased with the atmosphere of Christmas coming to your ears. All smells, all colors are perfect and yellow, like the hope I have inside. It creates a halo above all creatures who don't fake, who dare hoping in this time of blackness. Gray ghosts stroll the pavement, smiling at the children who giggle and become one with the death of millions, grinning.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Bravo.
My second one is called The Thing That Matters. It's shorter. I look into my eyes and I see blackness, an ocean of fears, moving slowly between waves of desire and regret. The shells are like my brain, empty. They move along the waters, powerless, looking for their content. A shelter without guest. That's what it feels like when you have lost the main thing that matters.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
There's
Yes.
a lot to that.
Yeah, that's good.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, please give us three's a charm, Claire.
Three is a charm. It's called The Angel of Death. Death is everywhere. It tastes the same and makes it hard to imagine how it would be like on the other side. I often surprise myself wondering where is the secret design under all this. Is it all part of a greater design, a secret one that humans couldn't grasp? Is there another world after? Is it only one God, or various gods and goddesses playing chess with us, humans only playing chess? The king of destruction and death is winning. He's been supported by the devil that gave him a few tips on how to rule the world, no matter what happens. His innocence transformed into greed, and more greed, something he started liking, to be in control of others, when he had felt powerless most of his life. His innocence had faded away since he started to play. To be a part of the great equation, he learned disguise, cheating and lies. He learned how to be the trustworthy wolf, one whose paws only were white and whose heart was longing for delusion and destruction. Disobey and you will get punished, God had said. And that's what they did, the first man and his love, for the sake of independence and accomplishment. Just like the messenger of death, he was sick of obeying to fate and had decided to play his own game. Won a couple of times, which encouraged him to go further. Lots of women, restaurants, recognition, admiration, lots of true promises. Enough to trust in the snake that now has become a man. It's in many brains, eating them up inside and playing the game of cards, deciding of our destinies and laughing out loud over a glass of wine. Their lips are so red they could remind one of blood. But the angel of death is immortal, and so he can keep playing. Destinies are at the mercy of an angel who has turned bad, all red with pride, envying the destiny of men. But listen, the clouds have turned black and the wind has announced their departure to the other world, a world now dominated by corruption and darkness.
Okay, okay. Again, darkly, yes.
Wow.
Undeniable in the
Okay.
poem or in the news, across borders, yes. Woo, it's one of them nights, folks, and wow. Um, okay, can't accuse the Angora poets of having their head in the sand, now can we?
Hmm.
No, no, no. Um, it is my turn to read, and I've decided tonight that I was going to read the works of two poets that I very much like. And I read from this one poem about a month ago. That's when Facebook took me down for publishing his Arabic name and the name of another Arabic poetry. And his name is Ahmed Alejmi, and he is from Bahrain, and he is a poet, and he is their annual literary review, the Bahrain Annual Literary Review, one of the editors, and he's published me in Arabic, translated me, and so I'm grateful for that. So what I want to do is, I thought this, uh, read this poem from Ahmed Alejmi, because while he follows many people, many poets online, he himself, because of the situation in Bahrain, cannot get access to Zoom. And much of what they publish, well, everything that they put online is monitored very, very closely. So I'm going to read you this poem, and it's from his book, Light is a White Dog. It came out last year. And um, the name of this poem is called Who Colored These Feelings? Uh, and the multiplying whiteness is its lost hugs. I'm sorry. The multiplying whiteness, is it lost bugs in my room? Is this black with blind mouth a beast chasing them to gobble them up? For whom does spring bring his wardrobe? How does he convince flower to wear them? Can the butterfly correct the path of light in the fields? Wouldn't he learn to fly, this pale ray, that chases those blind pups, why wouldn't he leave them his milk? The leaf asked him, wasn't I once deep green? What had happened to turn yellow and fall down? How do you suppose light manages to explain such a delicate touch? How many clouds have you discovered whose color is a mixture of light's speech and its silence? Is light the universe's blanket? It could be his heart calling us to burn with love. When do we listen carefully to his scheme, to the red when writing fire, to the blue when weaving water, to the green inside and out? In that manner we explain the genius of autumn to the tree. What motivates the light to dive and thank the shallow water fish? Why wouldn't he settle for a blue wink? Wasn't Cézanne's apple red and Mozart's shirt purple? Or dim light was able to trick them with beauty? With what manner do the birds enter the sky? Is it true that they learn to dance with the purple morning threads of light? How did Borges view the falling light in Alhambra Palace? Did he realize by heart that the red is extra warm when united with its own echo? How does the sunflower become sad and joyful at the same time? Does she intend to allow the yellow to express what's inside? Does she keep a diary of the sun? Were the clouds never a prism for children's dreams? Were their drawings hid up with the innocence of the aurora? Oh, lantern, how many shades of color you need to reach your sanity, your complete calmness, while discussing our faces here in the desert. There you go. Nice.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. And now I'm going to read a piece that I think just about everybody who took literature and poetry studies, at least in past decades, knows from the great Greek author, Cavafy. Long ago, I opened up his complete works and just read them from cover to cover. Um, for those who don't know, he was Greek and lived much of his life in Alexandria, and which was a thriving hub of culture then, long before the religionists decided that it should no longer be such. And so, just living in Alexandria alone, it was just a great, great place to be. It was a hub for culture and intellect in the Mediterranean. So, okay, here is Cavafy, and it's called, and I think this resonates with what's going on today. I really do. It's called Expecting the Barbarians. We are waiting for, assembled in the, oh, what are we waiting for, assembled in the public square? The barbarians are to arrive today. Why such inaction in the Senate? Why do the senators sit and pass no laws? Because the barbarians are to arrive today. What further laws can the senators pass? When the barbarians come, they will make the laws. Because the barbarians are to arrive today. Why did our emperor wake up so early and sit at the principal gate of the city on the throne in state wearing his crown? Because the barbarians are to arrive today, and the emperor waits to receive this their chief. Indeed, he has prepared to give him a scroll. Therein he engraved many titles and many names of honor. We have our two consuls, and the proctors come out today in their red embroidered togas. Why do they wear amethyst studded bracelets and rings with brilliant glittering emeralds? Why are they carrying costly canes today, superbly carved with silver and gold? Because the barbarians are to arrive today, and such things dazzle the barbarians. Why don't the worthy orators come as usual to make their speeches and have their say? Because the barbarians are to arrive today, and they get bored with eloquent orations. Why this sudden unrest and confusion? How solemn their faces have become. Why are the streets and squares clearing quickly, and all return to their homes so deep in thought? Because night is here, but the barbarians have not come. Some people arrived from the frontiers, and they said that there are no longer any barbarians. And now what shall become of us without any barbarians? These people were a kind of solution. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. From the complete poems of Cavafy. And okay, I'm going to try to find you perhaps what I think is his most famous poem of all. And it's called, whoop, sorry, dog. It's called Candles. It's called Candles. And yeah, same book, Billy. Okay, so here we go. Candles. The days of our futures stand before us like a row of lighted little candles, golden, warm, and lively little candles. The days gone by remain behind us, a mournful line of burnt out candles. The nearest ones are still smoking, cold candles, melted and bent. I do not want to look at them. Their form saddens me, and it saddens me to recall that their first light. I look ahead at my lighted candles. I do not want to turn back, lest I see the shudder, how quickly the somber line lengthens, how quickly the burnt-out candles multiply.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. Konstantinos Cavafy. If you knew him, you would call him Kus. All right. So there he was. And by the way, he is dead. You know, he died some decades ago. Um, he was gay as well, and in his time, you had to really repress being gay. So I'll add that to his legacy as well. There we go. Okay. So we have finished one round with 10 people, and now we're on screen with, oh, here comes Benedicta again. Okay, Benedicta, here we go. Too much. Okay, so we finished one round. So let's take a break and say hello or whatever we want to do for a few minutes, and we'll come back on for a second round. Okay? Okay. And okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I start work again tomorrow, so I'm going to have to say goodnight to everybody.
Okay. Well,
Good night, Bill.
say good night to everybody, Bill.
Good
Just
night, everybody.
do that.
Good night, Bill.
Night.
Go
See
ahead.
you next
Say
time.
good night to
Night, Bill.
say good night to everybody now, Bill. Come on.
Everybody, good night.
Everybody.
Good night, Bill.
I tell you. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, this ought to be a small and potent group for the second round. Cool. So
Indeed.
while we're in the intro, I'm going to smoke another cigarette because that's what I do. So what else? What's on your mind after Claire? We didn't hear from you earlier during the when we were doing the chat box in the parking lot before we started this. What's news with you? Any news with you?
Nothing new.
Okay. Uh, no news from
What about
you?
you, Mo?
Sorry, what?
What about you? What's news?
Um, oh, I found out that I had COVID.
What?
You heard me. I found out that I had COVID. Um, my doctor listened to some blood, looked at some blood tests and all. And apparently I had COVID earlier, and the symptoms, my version, you see, I'm still here alive in the flesh. Um, what happened was I got a minor strain of it, obviously. And the symptoms for me were 3 weeks of extreme fatigue, where I could smell, I could taste, I could barely walk my dog, and I was extremely tired or fatigued. And I would take 3 or 4 steps and have be short of breath, and that really frightened me. And I lived 6 flights up in my apartment, so even going down, let alone returning, for shopping and with the dog, I felt like I was one of those very elderly people I've seen throughout my life who struggled to get back in their front doors. That's how freaky it was on me because I was very short of breath and feared that I had emphysema because 2 or 3 steps and I was going, and I heard myself bending over to tie my shoes and I would go, so that's what the symptoms were. And well, I was, I didn't want to go in the hospital because I've been talking to my good old doctor over the months anyway. I've known him for years. And he's treated AIDS patients and now COVID patients. So he's been around the block. This Britisher named Stephen Wilson. And I'm talking to him, and he was saying, keep me posted. I said, yeah, doc, because from what I hear in the hospitals, you know, the question about respirators and this and that, he said, yeah, then the hospital can save your life or kill you. Flip a
Yeah.
coin. That's the way he talks. It can save your life or kill you. So I agreed, and he concurred that I would just stay home. So
When was this?
uh,
When was this?
this was back in June, and I finally got him the blood work to his office 2 days ago because after 3 weeks of that fatigue, I woke up one morning fine. You follow? I woke up feeling normal, so I just left well enough alone and assumed that I had bronchitis or something, because there wasn't much talk back then about weaker strains of COVID. Not much talk back then about it. It was more like like the bubonic plague. So I said, that bronchitis was a bitch, man. Whoa, damn! I'm glad that's gone now.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean,
what
so many
happened.
people are complaining of fatigue, and
Hmm.
sleepiness.
So so if you're wondering why suddenly I'm talking about how I healed from COVID, simply I waited it out. Frankly, afraid of myself because of the fatigue causing body weakness, muscle pain, and shortness of breath, like emphysema.
Mm.
You know. Okay, so that did happen. I'm not being cavalier about this, um, but like I said, I had blood tests taken and read one of the measures on it, and it had me in the middle ground between totally healthy and severely sick. So I said, "Oh, I'm in the middle ground. I'll just hang on. I'll just hang on." I think it was like a scale of 1 to 7 or something like that. And so that's it. I went to the doc 2 days ago, and I said, "By the way, I got those blood tests back." He said, "Oh, let me see them." So I gave him that and a couple other tests I had. I had my prostate looked at, because I started pissing a lot at night, you know, and things like that you get, when you age. You know what I mean? So Dig, he looked over that and simply said, "Oh, these are all the signs of COVID. You're a lucky man." And I said, "Doc, I think I am." And that's the way we talk with one another. You're living like this, being like this, and I'll live till I die. He said, "That's it, fella," because that's the way we talk, quite realistically with humor in the face of all this shit that's going on. Because as you can imagine, he reminded me. He said, what do you? Now this is him talking, okay? This is not my editorial. He told me, yeah. I said, yeah, I should be getting one of these tests lately. He said, it's up to you. He said, you can, one result on a Monday may not be a result on a Friday. And then really, if you were really like one of these politicians who are getting tested every 24 hours, you'd have a better understanding of where you're at. So he said, so, I think you should just, if you want to get a test, get a test. But I would more rely on you um, being very attentive to your system of health or lack of it. And if anything seems to disturb you or frighten you in those regards, you get here immediately and we will deal with all existing treatments. So he's not a lunatic. And so that he told me that. And he also told me that I said, Doc, I'm not anti-vax, nor am I real happy about rushing to a vaccine that was sped to the market simply because, they had to race it to the market. And and he said, well, that's right. We're not sure yet. We hope it works, right? And he said, by the way, that may give you immunity anywhere from 2 months to 6 or 8 months. We haven't determined it yet. I said, well, the second boost, he said, right. We'll try to figure out how long the first jab, as it's called, we'll have to, this will be empirical, with studies, how long that will protect us. And he said the science community, medical community is saying between 2 months and 8 months. And the second jab is to boost the first. And he said, don't be surprised if you're required to get a COVID shot after that once a year.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Okay. So Claire, that's what's been happening with me. My living room heater broke 7 days ago, so well, longer than that. So for 2 weeks I was living in the living room in the cold. That's been a lot of fun,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And so I bought my own heater and brought it upstairs here. It's one of those radiator heaters,
You just have
accordion.
to cuddle Bertha.
Huh?
You just have to cuddle your dog, and
You
she's
got
gonna
it.
eat.
She was warmer than me. You know what? That dog thinks my couch is her boudoir. I have to actually push her away now, because we're indoors so long. She seduced me into that, you know, man dog family thing. Come here, baby. Come here. And so it used to be, get off my couch. Now it's like, well, it's just you and I, honey, and we're going to be here for a while. Don't get too frisky. Don't get too frisky. So you're right. So, and I was worried about Bertha being cold because she's a short-haired dog. But when I've left for hours in this cold room and come back to check to see if she's shaking, shivering, she doesn't. So interesting enough, like tonight, you guys don't see it. She lies against my thigh when I go on Zoom. She just does it. And occasionally you hear her snore. She's a bulldog. And what? She's warm. She's actually warm. Sometimes in this cold room, I cuddle up on her. So here we go.
Well, they didn't talk about 3 dog nights and stuff like that for nothing. Huh?
Right, right. So that's what's going on with her and me. So my daughter was here. She lives on the Lower East Side, and my ex-wife was telling her, "Stay in Paris, stay in Paris. America's crazy." And we always said, "We know that. We know that, Iran.
Yeah.
America's crazy. New York is going to die." And we both said, New York is never gonna die." We want to imagine. It's down but never out, New York. That happened, and my ex did a campaign with me and my daughter. Stay in Paris, don't leave. There's more. Actually, there's more government security here. With income and healthcare, which is true. But my daughter's a musician, and she just turned around and said, "Hey, uh, I make I make new pop music and jazz. No, I'm gonna go to New York where you make it there or you don't make it. I ain't coming to Paris and waiting in line to see who I might know or not know. Because she's French, she knows the deal here. Who might be afraid of me because I'm doing something new. This is France, and she's French, so she gets a pass for saying this. So anyway, she went back. Now here's something with her. She was required to show a negative response COVID test at the Paris airport to go to New York. And the test came back delayed. So she called up Air France and said, "Ooh, my test results, this ain't the ordinary swab, this is that other one. My test results haven't arrived. This is a drag." Air France was nice enough to say, "Okay, you can get on a flight tomorrow, no charge." So she gets her test results and goes to Charles de Gaulle, goes to Roissy, the airport, and they don't ask her to see the test. So she gets on an airport and she figures she's texting me from the plane. I said, maybe they're going to ask you that in New York. So she landed at the JFK in New York, and they never asked her for a test result in New York. End of story.
That says a lot.
That says some incompetence, it would seem to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it was on the Americans, since she was re-entering the States, to see a negative test result. So there you go. So, yes, Claire.
Okay, I'm out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to just listen in, but I can't read anymore.
What's wrong? The cat get your tongue? What's up, buddy?
Well, just get some people over and.
Okay. I'm just encouraging you to read if you want to. Simply that.
Now you think?
I was actually thinking we should start now.
No.
Anyway,
I
look, it's up to you.
I have two tech pieces. One is about my city.
Okay, well, you need to hold on a second now. So let's get Claire back on, and let's see in what order we want to read. And since you read early in the first round, yes, why don't you open the second round, Bunny? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we all ready? And okay, hold on a sec, just so we can go through this. So who wants to? Let's see. Okay, David, Jack, Claire. Can we go with that order? Is that all right with him? Okay, so Bunny, it's on to you.
Okay, this first one is a Czech one, and it's called like my city's called, and it's called like in that area of that city, and it's na Kloboutsku. Na loukách okolo.
What is the name of your city?
Klobouky.
Thank you.
Na Kloboutsku. Na Kloboutsku. Na loukách okolo Neca bydlím. Jedině se cítím. Proč? Ty a vy v Cípni. Thank you. I can hear you, Mo.
Yeah. Do you have that same poem in English?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I will translate it for next time.
Well, give us briefly what the poem was about, please.
Well, it's about somebody living in a city for some time and having lived all over the world and coming here and dealing with the slight distress of the people. So it's kind of saying I live on. It's kind of like a fae would be, and saying I live by the woods. I fly across the fields. I feel in tune, and I don't care about you and you, about any negativity or something like that.
Okay. Well, thanks for that summary. Because if memory serves me, the spirit of population cooperation with COVID is not good in the Czech Republic.
Well, yeah, our numbers are really bad, right?
Right. And
we have like the Czech presidents on the Saturday or Saturday, was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday news. right after Christmas, taking the COVID shot.
Oh,
The problem, I mean, he was shaking. It was crazy. It was really like he and an older woman from the how do you call it, from the facilities,
Slovenia?
was getting the vaccine shot. And we have our own, like from Germany, from some Czech researcher. So yeah, the thing is,
Okay,
they say it's just for a couple of months or something, right? For 6 months at most.
right. Okay. Because you, among others, reported that the general sentiment in the Czech Republic was not that vigilant or that protective or cautious during this epidemic.
Exactly. And now, I mean, it's showing now, but it's mainly you can't even tell who's getting it, who's not getting it. Probably, I don't even know. It doesn't seem to be
Okay.
too much here where we live, because we are like really in a little village here, 7,000 people.
Well, that's a healthy advantage for you. Good. All right. So your second poem is in what language?
It's in Czech again.
Would you give us a brief summary about what we're about to hear?
After I read it, okay?
Well, it'd be nice. Okay, your call.
Drž se, já si lítám, lesy svítám, nic už nešeptám, jen zpívám, taky šepotám, kde jsi, já šeptám, dveře otvírám, už nejsem sám. Thank you.
Okay. Now, how about a little summary of what that poem
It's got a
is
little
driving
bit
at?
of that fairy feel again. It's with the woods, and the fairy is flying, and it's mumbling and whispering, and it's singing and whispering again. Where are you? I whisper, and the doors open wide. Now you're not alone anymore.
Okay. Okay, buddy. Well,
I
thank
like
you.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it
Thank
certainly,
you. Thank you.
certainly
That
jives
would
with.
be it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we asked for 2 poems in the second round. And so, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thank you,
Well,
guys.
stay well. Stay well.
You too.
Okay. So, Benedicta, now that you're on the screen, you should, you're driving me crazy with this on or off.
Yeah, I think the connection wasn't so strong.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm
Oh,
sorry to
no
hear that.
problem. That's
Okay.
fine.
So now that you're on, then why don't you read while you're on? We have you on now, signal wise.
Okay, that's fine. So the first one is soldiers of vibrant servitude, lest we forget.
Okay. So would you repeat that,
I take it
please?
again.
Please.
I take it again.
Yes.
Soldiers of vibrant servitude, lest we forget.
Okay. All right.
That's
And now a second one, please.
the second one. In a vague distance, lying left lifeless, life becomes a snatch, an undated, an unseen quest for the unknown. Standing still, I see all lives matter. That's the second one.
Okay. Very good. Well, that was brief. So let's hear that again, please.
In a vague distance, lying lifeless, life becomes a snatch, an undated, an unseen quest for the unknown. Standing still, I say all lives matter.
Okay. Request to the unknown. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Benedicta. Glad we
You're
got
most
you on.
welcome.
Glad we have you on while your signal was strong. Good.
That's great.
Yeah, that is good. Okay. So I think we were talking about David, Jack, and Claire. So David, can we hear from you, please?
Yes, indeed. I'm going to read a great classic poem. Hit mute, Benedicta, please. So here's a poem from Lewis Carroll,
Please, not
Jabberwocky.
me.
Uh, okay, now hold on, gang, including myself. Let's all mute. One, two, three.
I'm gonna forge ahead here. Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toads did gyre and gimble in the wob. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgrob. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jubjub bird, and shun the frumious bundersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toes did gyre and gimble in the wob. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgob.
Wow. Gonna need a reference to that. So the Jabberwockies weren't an invention of Star Wars.
No, and then actually Terry Gilliam made a film based on the Jabberwocky, which is very interesting. It's very darkly humorous and great film, the Jabberwocky.
Never
All
seen
right.
it. Never seen
Oh
it.
yeah, it's worth a watch, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to
So,
feed my dog some water. She's pounding in my kitchen.
oh
So,
boy.
which is close by. So
It comes
please.
from through the looking glass, right?
Yes, exactly. It's a poem I think that Alice reads in either Through the Looking Glass or Adventures in Wonderland. But yeah,
Yeah, I think it's the second one.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Yeah, so well worth a read anytime.
Oh
Lewis
yeah.
Carroll is just amazing.
Okay.
So I have another poem. I read this one here recently, but it seems to be timely. This is one of mine. The Funny Face Gang. Screaming, gleaming close at hand, churning, burning in the sand. Forget them, lad, let them hang. Forget the Funny Face Gang. Growing, sowing across the land, moving, grooving contraband. Escape your evil ways, she sang. Escape the Funny Face Gang. Listening glistening to a band, hearing, cheering each demand. Ignore their blasts, ignore their bang, ignore the funny face gang. Biting, fighting, reprimand, beaming, dreaming, final stand. Deny them all, that last cry rang. Deny the funny face gang.
That's a humorous message on what happened last Wednesday.
I know, it seems to, that's why I wanted to read it
One of the
again.
more kinder remarks is that was a funny face gang.
That's too kind, way too kind.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, thank you, David. And
Thank
remember,
you.
I'm going to get in touch with you
About how to
tomorrow.
set up playlists on YouTube.
I'm going to get some instruction. Some instruction.
I hope so. I hope I don't let you down there.
Well, you couldn't do any more. You couldn't be any more confused than me, let me tell you. So,
Okay, we'll enjoy our confusion.
yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to move on now to Jack, followed by Claire.
The needle in the haystack. You love the small streets, the quiet precincts, the lighted window up on the corner where a tree this past Christmas still sparkles. All the world made heavenly by a cup of lemon tea. Simplicity and nourishment of mere life. The bed at dawn, the waiting home, even one alone. Bare minimum, sometime maximum can be.
Another short and sweet, Mr. Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maximum can be. I like that part.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. And then
And
then I have this, which is called Olympiad. The straight way went crooked then, crookeder, when we could not meet. The length of sidewalk that ran between the one and the other, leaves that led in arpeggio to and away.
Okay. So why don't we hear that second one again? Because I was a little looking over my shoulder at my dog bothering me, and I'd like to hear that even if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
I'll put my dog in the doghouse, but she's already in the doghouse.
Yeah. It's called Olympiad. The straight way went crooked, then crookeder, when we could not meet. The length of sidewalk that ran between the one and the other, leaves that led in arpeggio to and away.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. We like that gang? We like that gang. All right. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Jack. So again, staying in Paris, let's go move over to another Paris poet, Claire Andriani.
Hi, everyone. I will start with a poem called In Your Head. A million voices resonate in my head. They tell me to do things I would never have thought of. Hold the hand of a stranger, sing a song, dance like it was only me in the middle of a crowd, sing my despair, sing my ruthless hope, what I have observed, what I haven't, the closed expression of children who don't play anymore in the metro, those bright faces that have lost their tongues and must face half a humanity with a mask on, eyes that follow you as you step in the train, the grayness of a time, the mourning of a nation that has breathed dust for a year now, the dust of dead people, victims of a disease, victims of race crimes, victims of people's lack of hearts, like robots. This year, clouds have taught me how to look at them despite the cries of sirens weeping silently in the Seine and in my head.
Yeah. Sadly, very good. Sadly, very good. It captures very
Wow.
much.
In my head.
Yeah,
Um,
it captures a lot.
the second one is a bit humorous. It's about a spider that I killed. And it took me like 2 hours before getting it. It was a real battle, you know, and I hate spiders so much. So I try to describe this struggle. It's called I Killed a Spider Yesterday. I killed a spider yesterday. It rolled on its stomach and seemed to say, "Let me live." There was a long battle before I could kill it. It first slipped between the laths and stayed there, hidden against the top of my bed. It was invisible against the dark blue color of it, and had retracted into a very tiny thing, as though it was made of elastic. Then it glided along its own thread, sticking out from its belly, like Spider-Man, except this one was not as attractive. It kept moving its legs creepily as though to save time, and splash! I killed it! Squashed it! I killed a spider yesterday, wondering where all these bruises came from on my legs, and I'm proud of it.
Okay.
It
Uh,
was
Spiders
humorous.
on notice.
and you know,
You
I
killed a
think we've
spider.
and I think we're all aware of the fact that spiders and snakes seem to terrify a lot of females.
Oh, I think they terrify guys too.
Yeah, not just females, guys.
You would walk with a guy and he would run away and leave you. You'll be
Well,
the first person to flee for his life.
okay. Well, I'm sure that the spiders can terrify guys, but my experience living around five sisters and a mother and cousins, it was like the boys jumped around the spiders and the women screamed. And now our family our
That may be
family
that may be true.
which was kill it. Well, mom, it's right there. You kill it, Mo, kill it. And so we may not represent every household or the gender thing, but I've heard that reference before, unless it's a stereotype. You know that a spider near a female will send waves of horror, you know, panic.
There's always a certain amount of truth in every stereotype.
Okay.
What,
Now,
what,
here is a surprise, people. I'm going to allow somebody in, and I want you to listen to this musician I've invited. Um, he's been he's a very talented musician. Rafik, can you hear us, Rafik?
Works. Do you hear me?
Talk some more.
Good. It might work better now, maybe.
Yeah, a little better. Okay.
Okay.
So you're studying for your doctoral exams in Brussels?
Oh no, actually, I'm not in Brussels. I'm in Flanders. It's
Oh,
even
oh,
weirder than. It's even weirder.
okay. And I mean, we played together in Paris. This guy and I, we would go on stage together, and I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed being on stage with this musician to do, his music to my poetry. It was cool. We would like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's just go on stage. We used to do that a lot at Paris Lit Up, and I thoroughly enjoyed this man, and I've listened to him
Right.
over time. Post his stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and it's good stuff.
Thank you.
So that's how I'd like
Yeah, a
to
lot of
introduce
progress
you.
was made since we played the last time. I think it's been already 3 years ago.
It's been about 2 years when you moved to Brussels, then I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, you got here just in time. I am the last poet in this session, and I will read
Mhm.
two pieces, and then you can play
Right.
for us, and we'll go
Awesome.
out with, yeah,
I
we'll go
have
out
time,
with,
so it's all good to me.
say what?
I have time, so it's all good for me.
Okay, cool. Then I tell you what, I'm going to read these two pieces, Rafik, and get out of the way so that you can perform for us. And
Okay.
I'm hoping in the future. Oh my goddamn dog! Just a minute. Right.
No.
Is. I'm
Hello, and
such
nice
a
to meet you,
delicate
everyone.
and fragile poet. My dog's banging a bone off a wooden floor. Okay. Anyway, I would. I'm telling y'all now. When Rafiq had to study tonight, when he has more time, we can have him come on as we've done before with not poet artists who have a passion for poetry. So there you go. Now, the first piece I'm going to read is kind of a really offbeat piece, and it's called Eric's Boy. Okay, Eric's Boy. And I think it resonates with uh, some of the ominous um, uh, climate that's been going around this room tonight and around this world. Not long ago, Eric's boy was born. His name is Daniel. In 20 years, Eric says, I'm going to tell him the things that are happening now. I'll talk to him about the friends who are dead and in prison, who, for the comfort of self censorship, the seeming comfort of indifference, the silence of willful ignorance and denial. Yes, I will tell him about how hard life was back then in all the countries spread around the world. And I want him to look in my eyes and not believe me and tell me I'm lying. The only proof will be that he, my son, was here, but he won't remember anything about this day, which will be back then when he was a newborn. I want him not to be able to believe that this was all possible. I can hear him say, Father, these acts are not in the books. These accounts are not documented in the proper films and approved speeches. Father, your generation does not speak of this, but only of natural catastrophes, of God's inexplicable uh, will, as some say. I want him to say that this time never existed. Okay,
Superb.
thank you. And here's another one.
Welcome.
Thank you. The cats will know. The cats will know. The rain will fall again on your smooth pavement, a light rain like a breath or a step. The breath and the dawn will flourish again, as if beneath your step, beneath flowers and sills, the cats will know. There will be other days, and there will be other voices, and you will smile alone, and the cats will know. And you will hear voices and words, old and spent and useless, like costumes left over from yesterday's party. You too will make gestures. You'll answer with words. Face of springtime. You too will make gestures. The cats will know. They will know the face of springtime and the light rain and the hyacinth dawn that wrench the hearts of him who hopes no more of you. They are the sad smiles that you smile all by yourself. There will be other days, other voices, and renewals, the face of springtime, and we will suffer at daybreak. The cats will know. And that is a poem by Cesar Pavese from Italy.
Okay, beautiful.
Not bad at all.
So there's my contribution tonight, lending into some of the more ominous climate. And so now I have the great pleasure of announcing my dear friend and artistic musician, who, as I said, I had the pleasure of listening to and performing with in Paris, primarily at Paris Lit Up. And so, everybody, let's give a listen to Rafik Benchemi. Rafik, over to you,
Okay.
babe.
Yeah, and thank you for the invite, for
Our
everything.
pleasure. Thank you for coming. I know you had to study late tonight.
No, it was like more surveillance because with the whole COVID things, as the students are having exams in special conditions. So today we had to organize an exam on a Sunday in the restaurant. So my boss was like, "Can you come on Sunday afternoon and evening because it's a restaurant and I have no idea how to keep an eye on everybody." Just checking,
Okay.
is the sound fine? It's not saturating?
It's a bit. It's not as clear as it could be. The guitar.
Mm,
No.
can eventually try one thing quickly.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Sure. You gave me a break. My dog is just raising hell in this living room, and I don't want her noise to disturb me or you.
No, it's mine. Because
No, I mean my
gonna
dog was banging bones and clawing my feet.
loves you.
She treated me better than the last woman I was with. Oh dear. Come on, smile, people.
Right.
So Rafik plays various types of music. So what have you in mind for us tonight, Rafik?
I was thinking about the things I've been working on lately. So it's been a bit of Charlie Parker.
Ooh,
Yeah, I ended up finally taking real music classes for the first time.
okay.
And yeah, the teacher is kind of a funny guy. So he kind of pushed toward trying, yeah, it's been a few months and we started working on a bit of bebop.
Bebop on guitar. Wow, get it, man. Mm.
I just did the quick test. Did it switch to me not being heard when talking and only guitar sound?
I only heard guitar sound on the test.
So yeah, that was the thing. And was the sound okay?
Yeah, it was. I turned up my volume because you didn't
Yeah.
overload your volume. Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, so then I will just put a bit more volume. So I will just cut my microphone. It will be just the amp, the sound from the amp.
Cool, man.
So first crash test will be for ornithology. So from Charlie Parker. A bit slower than Charlie Parker.
No, I can't hear from my side.
We know. We'll try to improve it for the second song.
I hear piano. I really do. Sound hallucination. There it is.
Yeah, because I don't think he could hear me to ask him to turn up the amp. Can you hear me to turn up your amp? Okay, let him go through this and I'll speak to him when it's done.
Maybe make wild gestures.
Okay. Uh, I could hear that faintly, and it sounded good. Are you able to turn up your amp and give us
Try.
and give us a test on your amplified?
Yes. Tuner. Settings.
This is like old time early radio live.
Yeah, it still sounds a bit messy, especially
Mm,
in the solo parts.
mm.
Uh,
Give us a
I'll just
sample.
give it a try now and tell me no.
Yeah. No, no. Can't hear it.
It sucks.
Mm.
Hmm. Now we're going.
Try it now, Rafi.
Rafik.
Oh, here we go.
Is it working better or isn't it too loud?
Oh, it was better this time.
Okay, then I will give it a try with a blues from Charlie Parker.
Okay.
It's now
Same
is the
vo
time.
same volume that you just
Yep.
had on. Okay.
Small mess with the looper overdub. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Wow, cool.
It was a nice performance.
Thanks for adjusting, Rafik, and those of
Yeah,
us here. Thanks for our patience waiting him out because glitches playing over Zoom is not a
yeah.
guarantee.
Actually, I'm just trying this for the first time. I never thought about plugging the amp and instead of the microphone, say to the computer, the amp is the microphone. It seems
Okay.
to work.
Well, then what I'd like you to do is go back to your lead song now that you have amplification, the anthology.
Ornithology? Oh,
Yeah.
you want it the second
Yeah.
time?
Now that you have the amp, let's hear this classic piece.
Okay.
Okay.
I will still have to make the loop just before, so
Okay.
let's hope it's not gonna be too messy.
All right. If you're willing to come home after all that and play for us, we're willing to listen to you after you worked out the kinks.
Dance with me. Dance
that was good, Rafika. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're being listened to from people from you were being listened to from people from Paris and the Czech Republic and Ghana. Uh, so there you go. You had
Ah, nice.
a small World Cafe session there for you.
I'm all happy for that. We were speaking, I just met last weekend a double bass player, and we decided that as soon as we can do things outside, we will probably be busking around playing some swing tunes.
Ah, nice.
As the only way to have some jazz or swing in Leuven is to make it by yourself.
Yeah,
Either
why
than
not?
just go out and do it.
Cool. My dog liked it. You got my dog all stirred up. Bertha's
Thank you again.
happy. Hi, Bertha. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I wish you all the best on that. And we gotta now that you know how you want to plug in,
Yep.
for this kind of Zoom situation here, uh, Bertha.
I will join in. But if
So
you're up to listen more or less played properly jazz standards, I'm up for it.
yeah, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
lovely
So
performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that was good. That was good. So is Charlie Parker then making is he a popular presence among a younger generation like yourself?
Actually, I have no idea because that's the point. I was subject to jazz because my brother was a musician. So that's how I heard the first tunes, whether it was bossa nova or jazz. And he
Okay.
just gave me books and telling me when you're bored, take this, use this. It was back then when we were still living in Algeria, more than
Okay.
15 years ago.
Uh, just a second. Hey, Bunny, if you could mute, please. Okay. If you could mute, please.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. So anyway, setting you up tonight, I did radio in my young adult years, and this was like in an independent public radio station, both in Pittsburgh and New York, and this was like setting up like old time radio, you know. Sorry, I'm going to try this again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the listening audience, if you'll just give our musician a minute or two, we'll get right back to you. And then the phone would ring. Back then, the phone would ring. I can't hear the son of a, I can't hear him. Okay, we'll get on the clip. A listener just called in and said, he can't hear you. Oh, okay, I'll try again. And then, I remember that. I remember that. So this was kind of, this was kind of
Well,
cool.
for the next time, I will manage to practice a little bit before, because I
Well,
have a few other standards that I've been working on. So
well, I seen you getting warm through the second half of that blues song. And after you took the bridge on Anthology, I saw you cooking then. I saw you cooking. So it was
right.
all worth it because when you got your sound element together for this little broadcast, you are a good musician.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, so anyway, give our best to your people up there in Antwerp, and tell them about
Louder,
Angora.
Leuven.
Huh?
I'm in Leuven.
What the hell's that? Try that again on my ears.
It's called Leuven.
Leuven. Okay.
Yep.
Leuven. All right,
Leuven.
1, 2, 3. Leuven.
Leuven, and they speak Dutch around here. It's super weird.
Flemish, Dutch or
Yes.
Flemish?
Yeah, but they have their local standard local Flemish, which is super weird
And you're
because
speaking.
the dialect changes every 5 kilometers.
Okay. And you and you're speaking French and English. So are you now speaking
Then, yeah, well, here as I arrived, my work is in English. So I took 1 year of classes of Dutch, just yeah, because I was still supposed to live here for 4 years. And as since 2 years, I started the jazz guitar school thing.
hmm
And actually, even though I have no clue where I'm going to end up after this PhD story, I think I might stick around just to continue with the teacher I'm having classes with, actually.
Okay.
So next year we'll be finishing the PhD. This will be also the first year of real break because it's been 9 years since I left Algeria and 9 years since I've been just working to pay the studies and studying.
Right. Because I omitted to speak that you're also I omitted to mention that you're also speaking, of course, your native Arabic, Algerian.
Yeah, we have the local dialect and the normal Arabic, which is shared between all the all Arab.
Okay, okay,
And in Betia, Netherlands nu. Now I can talk with Patrick in Dutch.
okay. Good for you. What of the languages, which one do you find the most difficult or challenging?
Ah, well, the Dutch is weird. The way they uses the way they make the sentences is really awkward. You have the impression that there are a lot of words, verbs and word subjects and blah blah blah, but that they're thrown at your face. Literally, you have the logic is just so different than speaking French or Arabic or the Algerian dialect, which is not even any official thing, or English. It's just awkward here, and
Okay.
but it's speakable because the sounds I can already make all the sounds they have. We have the cha.
Can you give us a sentence or two in the local dialect?
Oké, ja. No. Goedenavond iedereen. Ik ben Rafik, ik woon in Leuven en ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. Ik kan niet een alle conversatie hebben, maar ik kan een beetje discussiëren met jou, met jullie.
Oh, okay.
Weird
You make
language. Sounds weird.
no, but you make it sound attractive to the ear.
Yeah, well, that's the problem actually with the language. When you hear it, it's not. It really isn't. It really isn't.
Well, in your pronunciation, it sounded attractive to my ear, and
Thank you.
that's my reaction. One last question. It's apropos to a poets forum. Are you hearing poetry there?
Actually, I only hear poetry from my previous neighbor, who is a Dutch girl, and she writes a few things. Which, by the way, she read your book. I lent her this during the first lockdown. What is it? Ah. Basically, I have one of your book, which was "We Want Everything" or "We Want the World."
Oh, that's my book. Yeah, right.
Yes. She
Well,
borrowed it at some point because she gave me, yeah, as a birthday gift, a small booklet that she made with her own poetry, which was very difficult because it was in Dutch and I had to play with Google Translate. Luckily, there were lockdown and a lot of free time,
yeah.
and I could see her to translate directly. But I'm not totally sure that there are actually. Well, Leuven is a bit special because it's kind of a city that turns totally around the university. So people are more passing by. And the
Okay.
country is just so small that even the people that live here don't consider that, well, they study here, but on Friday evening, you see them going back with their luggage so that mommy and daddy clean the clothes and they come back on Sunday evening with Tupperwares and food for the whole week. Yeah, it's creepy.
Okay. So again,
So
my question is then your observations, is there a movement of Dutch language poetry?
in Leuven, I don't have this impression at all.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, like it's so not active, I would say, partly because it's super young, so people are just more looking for bars. There are just really loads of bars, and they don't have the same rules as in France where they close at midnight.
Oh, okay.
This was shocking during the first jam session I went to here in my first week. They just
Okay.
kept going until we stopped playing at 4 or
Okay.
5 in the morning. But
All right.
the only even for us to the point that we decided to start our own music things. So like the Hot Club, which was like Django Reinhardt swing stuff, or some small jazz jams, because even there, if there is like a big conservatory with a very good jazz department, the jazz musicians live in other cities or come from other cities, so they
True.
do consider Leuven as a passing thing from Monday to Friday, and that
Okay.
their real life is away where their parents live. So it's a bit awkward. It's a bit
So,
special.
okay.
I would expect more these things to be in Brussels,
Yeah. Okay.
most likely.
Okay. Well, all right. As I say, we're finishing up here. We started at 8 o'clock. I
Yeah,
could
yeah,
talk.
yeah.
I could talk to you all evening,
I'm
but
happy I joined on time.
yeah. So I wish you all the best, and we'll stay in touch on a social media network. And
Yes.
I'll continue to listen to the jams that you put out because I do turn them on and I listen to them. And hey, man,
Nice.
you're the only Mohican, baby. You're up there making jazz, and you know about poetry, of course. You were so regular with us here in Paris in English, French, and Arabic. So
Yeah, now it's different. Now I can speak English and I can understand English, which is amazing.
okay, cool for you. All right. So I'm gonna sign off in a minute here and
Yes.
say goodbye to the other people that are remaining on the screen, which is Benedicta down there in Ghana and Bunny over in the Czech Republic, and Jack is in yeah, and Jack is in Paris, and so I'm gonna have to say it's been a fun night for us. Well, fun.
Thank you,
We did
Rafi.
a
Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See you
Good
next time
night.
in
Good
the next
night.
awards.
Yeah.
And thanks again
Thanks,
for
Okay.
the invite.
everybody.
Good night,
Yeah.
Mo.
Good night.
Good
Okay,
night,
now.
everybody. And
Best to everyone.
Keep
Thank
night.
okay, keep the faith against the odds. Against the odds, we stay in the game.
Yes, sir.
You
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now, everybody. Wellness.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.